Hello, sixth grade. Miss Marina here. As I said, here's the correction of the exercises from week 1, from March 16 to March 20th. They were grammar exercises. There's nothing new. We are working with the present tense and the past tense. I made a different video just explaining these two verb tenses, and you can watch it to help you understand better this exercise, but here's the correction of it. So first exercise, fill in each blank with the correct verb from the word bank. So here we have some verbs. We have are, the verb to be, puts, have, sets, learns, takes, visits, work. This is easy because they already have the s in the end of the verbs. We just have to remember the rule to add these verbs in the right place. So remember that the first thing that we have to do when we do an exercise, use the present simple when we are doing a sentence in the present simple, is using taking a look at our subject. Remember, subject is the person that is doing the actions in my sentence. So, for example, letter A, the Satos do not a large apartment. The Satos are my subject because they do not a large apartment. So the Satos is my subject. The verb, the subject is the plural form. The only subjects that modify the verb is the ones that are in the third person singular. So if they are in the plural form, we already know that we don't have to put an S in the end of the verb. So the Satos do not have, I'm going to point here, so because I can't write it. Oh, I can, just a minute. Oh, I can underline it for you, and it's have. So the Satos do not have a large apartment. So you're going to put on letter A, have. Miss Garcia, her pencils away. So Miss Garcia is my subject. I need to think. Miss Garcia is in first, second, or third person singular. Miss Garcia is the third person because I can replace this subject to she. So it's in the third person. So the verb will receive an S. Miss Garcia, her pencils away. Miss Garcia puts her pencils away. Okay. Letter C. For 6 months, the sun never in Antarctica. My subject is the sun. Watch out, it's not for 6 months, right? 6 months is the adverb. So, for 6 months, the sun never in Antarctica. So, if the sun is in the third person, I can replace it by it. So, I have to use the verb with an S in the end. So, for 6 months, the sun never sets in Antarctica. Right? Sunset, sets, okay. Letter D, lichens, just a minute. Lichens, simple plants that grow on the surface of rocks. So it's a subject in the plural. Lichens are simple plants that grow on the surface of rocks. Now, Alicia is my subject. Alicia, about American culture. Once again, I can replace Alicia to she, so I have to use the S. So Alicia learns about American culture. Okay. Letter F, the Satos, very hard. The Satos, once again, it's in plural form, so I don't use the S, so the Satos work very hard. Mr. Sato, the train every day. Mr. Sato takes the train every day. And the last one, the family visits Japan, right? So the Satos do not have a large apartment. Miss Garcia puts her pencils away. For 6 months, the sun never sets in Antarctica. Lichens are simple plants that grow on the surface of rocks. Alicia learns about American culture. The Satos work very hard. Mr. Sato takes the train every day. And the family visits Japan. So this is the correction of our first exercise. Now we are going to continue to exercise number 2. Exercise number 2. Choose the correct word to complete the sentences. Once again, the Satos, a small apartment in Tokyo. The Satos, plural form. The Satos share a small apartment in Tokyo. The Louvre Museum. I can replace the Louvre Museum to it. It's in the third person. I'm talking about something. So, the Louvre Museum, oh, it's in the past. Was or were. So, it's if the singular form, we are going to use was. The Louvre Museum was a royal palace. Aiko and Yoshi, the train to school. Aiko and Yoshi, plural form, 2 different persons, right? My subject is Aiko and Yoshi. The train to school, so I can't use the S. Take the train to school. Alicia, third person, I can replace it to she. Alicia, that Tokyo is very crowded city. Alicia says that Tokyo is a very crowded city. The Sato family, on pillows instead of chairs while eating. The Sato family, it's in the singular form, right? The Sato family sits on pillows instead of chairs while eating. In Japan, people do not use beds. Instead, they, if we're using they, it's in the plural form, we can use the S, so have comfortable futons. We, once again, plural form, eat our meals at a table. Mr. Sato, I can replace Mr. Sato to he. It's in the third person, so Mr. Sato has 2 children, right? So this is the first part of the exercise, the second exercise, and now the third exercise. They ask you to complete the sentence paying special attention to the subject-verb agreement. This is optional, okay? You can write differently. You just have to obey the rules. So crevices, you know that it's the plural form, so you cannot use the S in the end of the verb if it is in the present, right? Alicia, third person. Fans at the football game, for it's the plural form, fans. And kangaroo, we can replace it to it, so it's third person. You can use the S in the end of the verb if you're doing the sentence in the simple present. If you're doing in the simple past, no problem, you just have to use it right, okay? That's it from page 80. I'm going to do a second part for this video, correcting the page 81, okay? See you later. Have a nice week of studies. Bye bye.